Hey you, Chris here. Russian is my native language and I'm here to help you master that authentic Russian sound. Today, we're going to be dissecting the infamous Russian sound, the rolled R. You'll find it in words like привет, хорошо, рука, but of course also more complex ones like скороговорка, пропорционально, перепрограммирование. So, what's the secret to this rolled R? Let's find out.
It is all about using different parts of your tongue in slightly different ways. Specifically, keep the middle of your tongue slightly tense while creating a vibration at the front.
Does that sound like rocket science? Well, if it does, let's make you a scientist then.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Now, if you already know how to roll the R and you just want to perfect your pronunciation by adding a Russian quality to that sound,
Царь знает, что делает.
feel free to skip to this timestamp. But if you're struggling, or maybe you're cheating the sound by using a gargling sound instead, Привет, скороговорка. Oof. Хорошо. Well, then you're in the right place, because this video is here to help.
The tongue is a large muscle, much larger than just the part we're able to stick out. If rolling the R feels impossible, it's probably just because you've never trained it in this way before. It's all about warming up, at least in the beginning, exercising, and building that muscle memory.
Please don't get discouraged if you can't nail it right away. Every single muscle in your body, as you well know, needs time and exercise to get in shape, and the tongue's no different. I like to be thorough in my teaching, so please stick with me, even if you think I'm being overly detailed. Trust me, it pays off. Fun fact before we start, about 10% of Russians cannot roll the R either, and they're not terribly bothered by it. We even have a word for it, kартавить, which ironically includes the sound we're about to learn. So, you ready? Let's get started.
Lift the tip of your tongue to the alveolar ridge. That's the spot right at the back of your front teeth. Open your jaw and don't release the tip. Your tongue stays narrow. Feel the stretch on the sides and on the underside of your tongue. Repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lift your entire tongue to the palate. Keep it wide. If you've heard of mewing, the popular exercise these days to reshape your jaw and get rid of a double chin, that's the one. The tongue stays at the roof of the mouth. Create a suction to keep the tongue up there. Now, as you open and close your mouth, feel the stretch of that string connection here. Repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember imitating hoops when you were a kid? That's our next exercise. Let's click the tongue. Lift the tip of your tongue towards the palate and suck it up. Open your jaw, feel that stretch again, and brush the tip back along the palate while quickly releasing the tongue to its resting position. That produces a click. Repeat.
So, how does your tongue feel right now? Can you feel like you've been working out a completely new muscle? What's it like? Let me know in the comments down below, because I want to know. I'm curious. Ready to move on to the interesting part? Let's start the workout. Step 1, forceful diaphragm breathing. I'm not kidding. We will need this force to activate the vibration of your tongue.
The diaphragm is a dome-shaped muscle that is located in this area, and it has the function of separating your lungs from your internal organs. Hands on your stomach, breathe in, and push all of that air out. Okay, one more time. In and out. And it's very important to use as much force as you possibly can, because if you're not used to rolling the R, you're going to need all of that energy to jumpstart that motor, if you will, to get your tongue rolling. So, again, breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Expand, contract. Expand, contract. Your shoulders stay right where they are.
Step 2, thinning the air. The goal here is to produce a nice and soft sound, like the Russian letter H. Hold it.
Lift the back of your tongue towards the palate, but don't touch it. What we want to do is create just a bit of space where the air can flow out. Don't look up or down. Keep it straight. This should feel completely effortless. You mustn't feel any tension, any friction. The way to actually tell if you're doing it right is that while you're producing the sound, you're still able to move the tip of your tongue freely. Close your mouth just a bit more. Again, you're not gargling with the back of your mouth or your throat or worse. You're just producing the sound inside of your mouth. Place your hands just below the jaw, touching the skin, really enveloping your throat, and say... Your hands should not be moving. There should be no vibration, no tension, no friction, nothing whatsoever. As opposed to... There's a massive vibration and tension going on here. This is wrong. This is bad for you. The way this feels right now is overly exaggerated, and that's probably because you're not too used to these kinds of exercises on a daily basis. Later there will be no tension, nothing. Remember, Russian sounds are lazy, so the last thing we want to do is excessive mouth acrobatics.
Step 3, Retroflex D. D. If you speak Indian or Norwegian or any other language where retroflex sounds like D, D, and so on are common, please skip to the next part. Otherwise, let's train.
Keeping that tension from the previous exercise, shape the tip of your tongue like a cup and lift it towards the palate. And when you say D, it should sound like this. D, 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 D. It's not the same position as the Irish or American R. We're not curling the tongue inwards, we're keeping it static. Just use the rim of your tongue and lift it up. Take note of the exact spot where the tongue touches the palate. So it's not behind the front teeth, it's not in the back, it's somewhere in between. And this is the spot we will need to roll the R. D. D, 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 D.
Step 4, R, R.
Keep everything as is, but relax your cheeks. The tongue's in the retroflex position, and now we're going to go for the diaphragm exhale we practiced earlier. So take a deep breath. Exhale and force the air out of your lungs, destroying that barrier you've created in your mouth. Okay, let's do it soundless first. Inhale and exhale. If you don't sound like this, just slide the tip back. Instead of this, slide it back. Now add a D to that sound. It's not a D anymore, it's the rolled R. If you're doing this for the first time, that combination of exhaling and having the tongue in the right position is going to take a lot of strength. Because right now, you're breaking a habit. You're breaking the habit of not being able to roll the R, and look what you just did. Even if for now you get just a millisecond of that vibration going, this is already a milestone. Congratulations! And the best part is, in this position there is no wrong way of rolling the R. So please let me know in the comments if this actually worked for you.
Step 5. Let's make it Russian. It's imperative that you do not do this step until you've mastered the R and can comfortably do it at any moment in time and space. Very dramatic. The sound is not quite perfect. Yes, it's a rolled R, but it does not have the Russian quality just yet. Let's change that. Now, the reason why I think it's easier to go via the retroflex position is because this way the vibration is spread evenly across the rim of your tongue. For beginners, I think this makes a lot more sense. Russians don't use the entire span of the vibration. Of course not. Why would we? We use about a half or maybe 2/3 of it. That's it. So, in my opinion, the Russian R sound is somewhere between the hard Spanish por favor and the Turkish teşekkür ederim, which is very soft. Let's take that sound and make it Russian. Let's pick a word for the whole thing to make a lot more sense. For example, работа, the word for work. According to the exercise we just did, your word should sound like this. Работа, 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 работа. It's almost there, we just need to soften it just a smidge. Instead of picturing a cup that is hitting your palate, we're gonna go with a soup plate, not a bowl, a soup plate, or a bowler hat, an upside down bowler hat, if you will. You still use a concave shape in the middle, but now the sides of your tongue are shaped like a brim. In other words, flatten that cup, close your mouth just a bit, and slide your jaw back. So instead of saying ra, 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 we go ra, ra, ra. Can you hear the difference? Ra, 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 ra. It's very slight, but it's there. So let's try this again. Ra, 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 работа, 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 работа. Хорошо, хорошо. Well done. I hope this helped. Please let me know in the comments down below if it did, or maybe you're still completely lost and have no idea what to do, and I'll see if I can put together some more exercises for the same letter. If you found this video helpful or you got some value out of it, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you stay up to date on videos just like this and on the occasional annotated strolls through Moscow, and who knows, I might take you to some places where not too many people have been before. How about that? So, thank you so much for watching. Chris out for now, and I'll see you in the next one.